Thank you so much, David Sands, coming in from Silver Spring, Maryland, of the DC Labor Chorus, our brand new friend for the day today on Daily Antidote of Song. And I'm going to start by saying hello and welcome to everybody who's in here today. And also to say, is a lot going on in the world. We all know there's a lot going on in the world. And some days just feel impossibly hard. And the laughter is a good medicine formula is what we are using today. I think you are going to enjoy today very much. We are sending, of course, love and hope and thoughts out to all of the people today who are hurting in the world, and it's myriad many. And we're aware, and we're going to take a moment today just to be in the joy of whatever we can find to be joyful about. So please help me say hello to everybody out there on the live stream. This is a hello from us here in this room to anybody who's watching right now on Facebook or YouTube, or to anybody who's watching us later. We can feel you. We know you're there, and we're glad you join us here in this space. I'm Jo Rossi. I'm the director of the Daily Antidote of Song. We are in the middle of New Year, New Friends Month. So every day this month, we've been singing with new folks, and today is no exception. We are very excited to be having today as our guest a friend of Elise Bryant and a chorus member of the DC Labor Chorus, David Sands. And I'm going to get back to him in just a moment. We're going to say hi to everybody first. So hello to Ariana coming in from Los Angeles, and Sarah in Santa Cruz. Hello, nice to see you today. Hello to Susan in Cincinnati, Nan in Michigan, Annette in California, Arlene in California, Neil in Boston, Doug in Vermont, Deborah in Kentucky, Mabel and the Bears in Massachusetts, Kathy in Colorado, Karen in Oregon, Louise coming in from Devon, UK, Anne in Nashville, Tennessee, Carolyn in Boise, Idaho, reminding us that today is day 1,741 consecutive days of singing here in the Daily Antidote of Song. Lucky us. Hello to Linda on Orcas Island, Bonnie also in Boise, Idaho, Luda in British Columbia, Victoria, British Columbia, Marion in Brighton, UK, Bob coming in from Albany, Sarah coming in from Texas, Benet in Berkeley, California, Bob in Massachusetts, Sue in Seattle, Caroline coming in from Washington, D.C., Kathleen coming in from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Hello, Kathy coming in from California, Pauline coming in from Newcastle, UK, Delhi in Maryland, Storm in Massachusetts, and Linda in California. Oop, and then there's Diane in Mass, and Aloysius in Mass. All right, and let's say hi to all the folks off video today. Ellen, I'm not sure where you're coming in from, but welcome. Carolyn, Jamie in Victoria, Cricket in Maryland, Nancy in Washington State, Cliff in Vermont, Anne in Silver Spring. All right, let's all take a deep breath. Oops, wait, I think we've got a whole bunch more people coming in the room right now, so let's say hi to them too. Hello to all the folks entering the room right now. Becky, Vancouver, Hoda, British Columbia, Lynn, Connecticut, Don and the Curly Tops in Vermont, Julie in Ontario, Canada, and I think Fred, also of the DC Labor Chorus, joining us. Let's take a deep breath. Okay, so here we are, New Year, New Friends Month, and luckily we have in the room with us today the beautiful, amazing, incomparable Elise Bryant, who is the director of the DC Labor Chorus and who has brought us today's special new friend. Elise, I am turning it over to you. Welcome.
Hey, there we go. Hi, Joe. Hi, everybody. Hi, Daily Antidote Song family and friends. This is great to be here. It's our first one of the year with you. And it's my honor and pleasure to introduce to you the wonderful Dave Sands. Dave came a long way to be with us today. He came from all the way across the street, that house over there. That's where Dave lives. And Dave has been awarded the World's Greatest Neighbor Award by me, since he and his wife, Ellen, have been the best neighbors since I moved in here 28 years ago. And Dave, much to my surprise, I know Dave was a reporter and all that, and he's an activist, but I didn't know was that he was a singer. So when he came to the DC Labor Chorus and said, yeah, I want to sing, I was like, okay, cool, World's Greatest Neighbor, who knew? And he is, I think the tenors would agree with me, he is the first chair of the tenor section of the DC Labor Chorus. And we rehearse, when we have our sectionals, we rehearse over in Dave's house. He got a piano so we could be there and rehearse the grand piano. And he's just wonderful. I didn't know this until the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, that Dave was also a musician. He plays a recorder. I was sitting in my house one day and I heard this music floating like out of some kind of Disney movie. And I looked over across the street and there was Dave sitting in his lawn chair on his front porch playing the recorder. Not only is he playing the recorder and singing as the first chair of the DC Labor Corps tenor section, but he's also a visual artist. Dave draws giant pictures with chalk in the street between our houses. And the young folks who live on both sides of us are there and they're drawing, they're looking at it. And one time he did the logo of the DC Labor Corps, which you'll see what he has on his t-shirt. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the world's greatest neighbor, first tenor section of DC Labor Corps, the wonderful, and I didn't know this either, songwriter, Dave Sands. Go, Dave.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for the invitation to come here. It's really impressive to see the globe-spanning audience we have here today. My first song is, I think, kind of appropriate to this setting. A song I wrote about a couple of years ago. I was going to teach you the chorus here. The song is called "You're Muted." And it's exactly about what you think it is. And the chorus goes something like this. The chorus actually is slightly different in the three versions, but the basic setting is, "You're muted, you're muted, couldn't hear a word you say. Whatever point you were trying to make, you're not making it today. But take that as a lesson in social empathy. For some folks, being muted is their daily reality." So that's the chorus. Why don't we all try it once, and then I will just jump right into the song, and then we can talk about it later. Once again, it's, "You're muted, you're muted, couldn't hear a word you say. Whatever point you were trying to make, you're not making it today. Oh, but take that as a lesson in social empathy. For some folks, being muted is their daily reality." Sounds great, even though you're all muted. I think it sounded great. So here it is. You're muted. I actually usually start this muted so people yell at me that you're muted so I can get the point across, but I'm not muted, so here we go. "I'm sure your point was cogent and impeccably expressed. Each bullet point, it hit the mark. Each caveat was addressed. There's just one teeny tiny flaw that's giving us some doubt. Although your lips were moving, there was nothing coming out. You're muted, you're muted, couldn't hear a word you say. Whatever point you were trying to make, you're not making it today. Oh, but take that as a lesson in social empathy. For some folks, being muted is their daily reality. Now the winners write the history books, but that don't make 'em right. There's tales of strife and sacrifice that never saw the light. Knowing both the good and bad of how we came to be should not be an exercise in archaeology. They're muted, all muted, never got to have their say. Whatever point they were trying to make, we're not hearing it today. The ostracized, the marginalized, deserve their dignity. For folks whom we decline to hear, in time we refuse to see. Now I can't speak for trees and sounds they make out in the wood, but it's for sure there's things that we're not hearing like we should. Hearing like we should. There's times when you want wings to fly, but life hands to you a brick. When that screen you're born with does not have a mic to click. Now I'm sure there are some noblemen clad in marble in your halls, but may I suggest a few portraits to add a little color to your walls? Folks who fought for workers' rights or who braved the racist hate. Folks who made some history that's never out of date. Unmute 'em, unmute 'em, gotta let 'em have their say. The points that they were trying to make we're still hearing here today. There's times we won't see eye to eye, but on this all must agree. If you're never taught the truth, how can it set you free? Yeah, if you're never taught the truth, how can it set you free? That's it.
Woo! Okay, that was completely amazing. And I'm sorry, but like it's also the way that you just did, in fact, take humor or something that's a light topic or make us smile and laugh while completely tossing out there some really deep and incredible perspectives on social issues. So I think actually I just would like to start by saying, well, thank you. Can we please give it up
Thank
for
you.
um, I think I would like to hear a little bit more about how you came to that song. And also, I think Elise said you're a reporter. So that's interesting. Like, can you talk a little bit about your social justice journey and how it ties into your songwriting?
Yeah. Well, the song I think was from this kind of universal tiny bit of embarrassment. Now, I'm not very tech savvy, but when you start talking in a Zoom meeting all during the COVID and then everybody yells at you, you're muted, and you feel just, first you feel stupid and embarrassed and all that. And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. And then I got into the thinking about that whole phrase, or that phrase, you're muted, is kind of interesting. It's like, it's observational, but it's also, you know, it's also a command. You're muted, you can't speak. And then that tiny little embarrassment, I thought, well, there's people out there that's, like I say in the song, kind of that's their entire life, that nobody ever hears them. They have no platform like I do today. They don't, they're unheard, unseen, and uncared for. So, sort of the two ideas kind of came together into the song, basically.
Beautiful. That's really amazing. So I think here in the Daily Antidote, we started this in the pandemic as a way of getting people together and building community and be able to sing and be able to support the artists we'd been working with pre-pandemic. But the idea that it was had the potential to be a platform and then became such a platform for social and racial justice
Uh-huh.
issues, not where we came in. It just emerged out of it. And I think for a lot of folks, the pandemic really was a time of reckoning with a lot of racial and social justice issues, and maybe also having the depth of space and then the presence of larger, more global communities to be able to really hash through some of those things. And so I'm
Well, I
just,
think I think also it was technologically, it was a time where if you were technologically savvy, you got along okay and could connect with people. But if you weren't, or if you didn't have a internet account, which a lot of people don't, it was very isolating and frustrating. And I know even in the meetings I was in for work, my computer would break down regularly, and I just hated the feeling. And then I realized, oh, that's a tiny problem in the world, but it's like it's worth a song.
so yeah, I mean, it's a tiny problem maybe if you're just talking about one's individual self and their own muting experience, but when you connect it to something so much more significant and global, it becomes, I would say, a great way of looking at and remembering sort of the have and have not element of any individual person that you encounter, and how what you don't know could be a good space for reflecting on how you interact with someone, not
Mhm.
making assumptions that we understand someone's personal experience. And so,
And I kind of know in my own songwriting, I kind of prefer light or humor to make that point, and I'm not good on the charge full speed ahead songs. That if I come at it from the side with a joke, and that's tend to be how I work so far.
well, it works really beautifully, and it's a lovely thing to be able to be in this space and in the midst of a wreck of a universe right now. It is really nice to be able to take a pause where we're a little lighter hearted and at the exact same time still right there in the depth of the issues. So like it kind of, I think, is a definition of who we are personally and in this space as a community. So can you tell us a little bit about how you ended up in the DC Labor Chorus? And in fact, I also would like to just say that you are coming to us from not very far away because you live right next door to Elise, but and however you are actually in Elise's living room. So like yet even closer.
Well,
And
it's part of my technological lack of savvy that I didn't trust my own computer and hookup, and Elise had a nice setup. But I mean, she stole my origin story that we've lived in Silver Spring here, my wife and three children, since the early 90s. But Elise moved in, I want to say 1997, 98, and obviously she's a force of nature if you've ever dealt with her. But I'd sung in high school. I sang in a church choir. I still sing in a church choir, but hadn't gotten much into music. And um, got to be friends with Elise. Got to know about the whole community there. Steve Jones, the great people in the labor car. So they invited me one day, and it was great musically in a sense that I didn't know a lot of this. I apologize, but this whole corpus of labor music out there that it's like it says in the song. There's a lot of labor history, a lot of social justice history out there that I didn't get. I wasn't taught in high school. I was like, and a lot of social justice culture, music, and art that I was like a total newbie when I joined this. That I didn't know hold the fort when I joined this chorus. I'll admit that right now. So it was a real education. And then the choir is a lot of fun to be in, and the social justice part is good, but it's also a very welcoming place. And sort of like a rock band, if you write a song, they kind of have to sing it at least once, in a concert. That's kind of and so I did a couple of parodies early on, and people encouraged me. And as you said, I'm a writer, so so writing lyrics is very different than writing newspaper articles. I will tell you that it's much harder. But that's so Elise invited me, and then I just kind of generally stuck with it for I want to say 15 years now, with some pretty amazing experiences from it. Singing on the Lincoln Memorial steps with Reverend Barber, or we sang at Representative Raskin's father's funeral. We go to a lot of church services, which I find fascinating. We sing in marches. Sometimes it's just two or three of us. Sometimes it's the whole choir. So it's been a great experience all around. So
beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So I did make it to the DC Labor Chorus's holiday festivity concert, and there was quite a lot of laughter in that. It does seem like an incredible group. I do want to shout out, we have a couple folks in the room besides Elise Bryant. We have Amal, who sang with us once before, and we also have Fred Stolnitz, who comes all the time, both DC Labor Chorus members, and potentially there's other folks in here too. So welcome to everybody from DC Labor Chorus who's watching it now or watching it later. And I do also, we have a little prop to show about your song. So I'm just going to put this up very quickly. This is from a quilt that someone made someone is actually going to be holding it up. Sorry, one second. This is from the quilt that Susan in Cincinnati, Ohio made for the Daily Antidote of Song. That was one of the squares. So as you can see, that all of us in here, most assuredly, and in fact, yesterday, I didn't even do this on purpose, but one would think I did. Yesterday, in the middle of the Daily Antidote, I started spieling and had myself muted. And so I took 3 people to get me to realize I was talking into the air. So it's not just the tech unsavvy people, it is also those who are supposedly tech savvy. So David, it's really,
I've said, like, actually, sorry. Occasionally, I start that song on mute so that everybody, I think I said that. I started on mute so everybody yells at me, and then I thank them for naming the song for me.
Okay, that is hysterical. All right, now we have to sing it again in a year so that we can do that. So David, it's really, really great to meet you, to be able to sing with you, to be able to learn about some of what makes you tick and how you're giving back in the world. And I think you have another song for us. Oh, and actually first, do you want to just let us know what's coming up for DC Labor Chorus?
A couple things we have. I don't have the links here, but I can post them later. We basically, if you're interested in the DC Labor Chorus, we do a May concert and a winter concert every year, which are really good. I mean, the one thing about a DC Labor Chorus concert is the audience sometimes knows the words better than the chorus does, and so it's a very enthusiastic audience. We have a Martin Luther King Ball coming up later this month, January 19, and something I'm actually kind of excited about. I got it here. We're singing at St. Augustine Catholic Church in February, which is the historic black Catholic church in Washington, which is where actually our kids went when we were living downtown. So I'm looking forward to that. Then one more event I will mention, because this is getting boring, I know, but there's the Greater Labor Arts Exchange every summer, which is an amazing event actually, with labor cultural workers from around the country, singers, a lot of guys with guitars, but also poets and dancers and spoken word artists, and it's an amazing confluence of people coming together, and that'll be this summer in Washington, though I don't think they've set the date yet on that. So
beautiful. Thank you, David. Not boring at all. And in fact, we heard about it from other DC Labor Corps folks and from Elise in this space. And for those of you who are in the DMV area, tap into DC Labor Corps when you can. It really is an amazing community. And for those of you elsewhere, sometimes this stuff is streamed, so we'll keep an eye out and let everybody know when they are streaming something. And okay, David, do you feel like sharing your second song?
Sure. This I like songs where I kind of based off of other songs. So actually, one of the first songs I wrote was because I didn't have a birthday present for this friend who just had a baby, so I wrote a lullaby for the baby, and it was taps turned upside down. Instead of going up, it went down. But this is a kind of in that genre. I don't know if it's a genre or something I do, but this, if you know the Quaker song, "My Life Rolls On, an Endless Song Through All." Well, this was a lullaby. I call this the Quaker Lullaby, and you kind of hear echoes of it in the melody here, and it goes something like this. The night rolls on, soon breaks the dawn, a silent watch, sweet babe, I am keeping. In peace profound, the whole world around, how can you keep from sleeping? When there's peace on the hilltops, and peace in the valleys, and peace to blanket this bed. With God's love to hold you, let sweet peace enfold you, a pillow of peace for your head. Though past this room there's strife and gloom, though all tomorrow's hopes miscarry, though light may fade, no cares dare invade this solemn sanctuary, where there's peace on the hilltops and peace in the valleys, and peace to blanket this bed. With God's love to hold you, let my arms enfold you, a pillow of peace for your head.
Wow. That was really nice. Thank you, David.
Thanks.
Can everybody please put your hands up for David Sands? What a treat to sing with you today, David. Really glad to have met you.
Thank you.
And hope we can get you back here on the Daily Antidote of Song when you have potentially yet more parodies that you can.
I have a few more, but we'll save them for another day. Leave them wanting more there, Jojo.
There you go. That's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to get them to come back. We're just going to make an abstract promise that they'll get to see you again in here sometime. Now they keep coming, figure out when that's going to be. Thank you again, David. So much fun again. Let's all give it up again one more time for David Sands, DC Labor Corps.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. A great friend and collaborator with Elise Bryant and neighbor. And it was really great to meet you. And we want to say goodbye, of course, to everybody out there on the live stream. Thanks, gang, for joining us today. We're really glad you're here, and can't wait to see you all tomorrow. Actually, that reminds me, thank you very much for my self-cue, that I'm going to let you know that, so we've had, as I said, new folks all week. It's been really exciting and fun, and we're aiming for the same thing for next week. So we've got 2 more folks still this week. Tomorrow is Sue Ribaudo being hosted by Elise Witt in Georgia, and Mo Nelson coming in on Sunday. And the Mo Nelson is kind of a little funny because he actually was here once before, but his sound didn't work, so we couldn't hear him. It was as though he was on mute. So we're calling him new, and he's coming on Sunday. So please join us on Sunday to actually get to sing with Mo. And thank you again, everybody out there on the live stream, folks on Facebook, folks on YouTube. Can't wait to see you all tomorrow here again. And thanks to everybody in this space. Ariana, thanks for running tech for us out of Los Angeles. Sarah in Santa Cruz, California. To all our California folks, we send a lot of love. I know things are very, very tough there right now. Susan in Cincinnati, Ohio, thank you for the prop and thank you for the beautiful quilt Susan made on the anniversary of our 2nd birthday. And there's a lot of other funnies in the quilt. So now we need like a parody for every square, but we'll get you on that, David. Annette in California, thank you. Arlene in Berkeley, California. Neil coming in from Boston, Mass. Doug in Vermont. Deborah in Kentucky. Mabel and a bunch of bears coming in from Massachusetts. And I can't say if Bob is next to you or not because you are in the corner. No, okay. Louise in Devon, UK. Laris coming in from the UK with a beautiful love sign. Karen in Oregon. Carolyn in Boise, Idaho. Bonnie also in Boise. Anne in snowy Nashville. That's fun. Kathleen in Albuquerque. There's William, 100-year-old William on the Pauline in Newcastle, UK Square. And there's Pauline. Good to see both of you. Lots of love. Sue in Seattle. Marion in Brighton, UK. Bob in Albany. Sarah in Texas. Katie Abadou coming in from Tacoma Park, Maryland. Great to see your face, Katie. We are so glad you're here. Caroline in DC. Linda on Orcas Island. Benet in Berkeley, California. Nan in Michigan. Kathy in Colorado. There are some Peabodys. Curly tops, at least 2 of them over there in Vermont. Nice to see you both. Julie in Ontario, Canada. Anne in Silver Spring, Maryland. Linda coming in from San Rafael, California. Sydney in San Francisco, California. Bob in Massachusetts. Cricket in Maryland. Delhi in Maryland. Storm also in Mass. Okay, we got 3 Masses in a row. Storm, Diane, and Aloysius all in Mass. Jamie in Victoria. Nancy in Washington State. Cliff and Lynn maybe in Vermont. Becky coming in from Vancouver, Hoda in British Columbia, Lynn in Connecticut, Fred in Maryland, and Amal both come from the DC Labor Chorus, and Athena in Brooklyn. Thank you so much, gang. So great to have you all here. Can't wait to see you.